I'm Chris, you're watching FRAG-MENTAL. Let's talk about pricks. I've got a little prick. I've had a little prick. I've been pricked. Rose dick pick prick. I've smelled Tom Ford's prick. Rose dick prick. Tom Ford's rose dick. Rose dick pick prick. Pick dick pics. Rosy pink prick. Rose prickle trickle prick trickle prick trickle dick tickle. Big prick. Rose dick. I'm a prick. Tom Ford's Rose Prick first impressions. Stay tuned to Rose Prick FM. I have smelled Tom Ford's Rose Prick. There we go. I think I got it right. So this is not yet released. I think it's released next week. I was in Harvey Nichols in Leeds. I was in Leeds doing a voiceover. So I popped into Harvey Nicks and the SA asked me if I needed any help. Rose Prick wasn't on the counter. I asked if she knew when it was released and she kind of went, actually, I've got some in the drawer down here. She had a few tester bottles, maybe 5 or 6 tester bottles. She got it out of the drawer. I held it in my hand. I did stupidly say, can I buy this? And obviously she said no because it's not released yet. She did say I could spray it on skin, so I did. I've been wearing it now for around 6 hours, so I thought I would just report my first impressions. I have it sprayed on here. I actually held the bottle in my hand. It's gorgeous. The matte pink color and the darker label, it just looks great. It was a real tease because I held it in my hand, but I could not buy it. First off, 2 things. Rose haters, nothing to see here. It is not rosy enough to hate. Despite the name, despite the colour of the bottle, it's a little bit misleading. Second thing, gents, do not be put off by this pink bottle. Of course, there are female connotations, there will be. Dispel those connotations because they do not apply here. The colour of the bottle does not mean this is a feminine fragrance. Okay, I'm going to try and break this down to you as best I can based on these first impressions. Let's start off by taking a closer look at the bottle and the notes. So there we go, there's the lovely matte pink bottle. It actually feels really nice. I think it looks really nice. I would definitely have this on my shelf. Here are the notes. We've got Sichuan pepper, turmeric, May rose, Turkish rose, Bulgarian rose, patchouli and tonka bean. So the opening of this is where it's most rosy, but it's not a really strong rose. It made me think more of a pink, powdery type of rose. Maybe it was the colour of the bottle, just messing with my mind and putting that thought in my head. But I got a lighter, more powdery, sweeter rose rather than the colour of deep red, which makes me think more of a very rich, deep rose. It didn't come across like that at all. In the opening also, there's some spices in there. So you've got the pepper and there's some turmeric. They're adding this really lively spiciness, which is really satisfying. And I also think that these spices are just reining that rose in a little bit. They're stopping the rose from just going too feminine. So they're really bringing it back in, making this a real unisex fragrance actually. I think it's the perfect fragrance for a man or for a woman, absolutely unisex. So the 3 types of rose, May, Turkish, Bulgarian, so you would think it would be a real big rose bomb. It's not a bomb, it's a prick, it's a little prick. Okay, so there's not enough rose in here to frighten away rose haters. I've got a love-hate relationship with rose. If it's too rosy, it's not for me. Unfortunately, I would like to love this more because it is well loved, but Portrait of a Lady is a little too rosy for me. Reminds me of an old lady's handbag. I don't know why I have that association. I wish I didn't, but when I smelled Portrait of a Lady, that's the first thing I thought, and I just cannot shake that association out of my mind. So that is a little too rosy for me. I can appreciate it's a lovely fragrance, but it's not for me. But this isn't like that. This isn't a really kind of thick rose where the rose feels heart and center. What I would say is heart and center in this fragrance, as far as I can tell, is the patchouli. So there's a lot of patchouli here. It's a beautiful patchouli. It seems to be a balance of like an earthy patchouli, but also sometimes patchouli can come off having a chocolatey feel, so it's almost got like a chocolatey cacao feel. The patchouli is adding this really nice kind of strength and depth, and I guess you could say muscularity to the fragrance. That's what I call it when I feel like a fragrance has got like a bit of oomph. I refer to it as having a bit of muscle. So after about 20 minutes, the powdery rose for me seemed to dry down, and then this patchouli came more to the forefront. So this earthiness and the chocolatey nuances started to come forward a little bit more. And it was at this point that I got reminded just a little bit of Noir de Noir, so just little flickers, little glimmers, not exactly the same by any stretch of the imagination, but it just reminded me of it a little bit. Probably not as rosy, probably not as chocolatey as Noir de Noir. I think more patchouli than that one, but just, you know, just little glimmers just to give you an idea of where the fragrance is going. Further into the dry down, the sweetness of that tonka bean just really comes in, that kind of syrupy, pancakey, you know, pancakes covered in syrup type of sweetness, that really kind of home baking, comforting sweetness that just seems to have plenty of depth, but it never takes over. It allows the patchouli to sit there in the middle and remain kind of front and center, and still allows for the kind of that light powdery rose just to kind of hover around a little bit on top. So it's a really nice balance to the fragrance. You got, you know, the sweet powdery rose, you got the muscularity of that patchouli in the heart, and then that sweetness and depth of the tonka bean. But there's more depth than just the tonka bean, I found. There's not any woods or amber or vanilla listed on Fragrantica anyway, which is what I was using for the note breakdown, but I feel like those things are here. It feels like further into the dry down, as well as that tonka sweetness, you get a lovely kind of warming woodiness, and I feel like there's some depth. I feel like there's some amber or some kind of aroma chemical that is causing a similar accord, creating a similar accord to amber, which is a depth and a sweetness. And also I feel like there's a bit of vanilla in this one. I feel like, it smells like an oriental fragrance to me, so I feel like there's some vanilla adding some sweetness, particularly in the base of this one maybe. But all in all, it is a really nicely balanced fragrance. So what I got from this was powdery sweet hints or pricks of rose, and that chocolatey, earthy patchouli, and then this woody base with the sweet tonka bean, lovely smooth base, and a bit of vanilla there as well. Overall, absolutely stunning. Let's talk about sex, baby. This is sexy. This is damn sexy. I am not kidding you. I can't stop smelling this on my hand. This is a fragrance that, if I smelled this on a woman, I think I would go a little bit weak at the knees. It's that good. It's really sensual, and I'm not talking about this nice kind of elegant sexiness. I'm talking about the kind of sexiness where you just want to grab someone and rip their clothes off. It's kind of got that lustful, slightly naughty, slightly carnal edge to it, which is what you'd expect from a bit of a cheeky Tom Ford release. It just seems to exude this sexy confidence. Having said all that, as much as I think this would be amazing to smell on a woman, and I can't wait to smell it on a woman because I think it's going to be a real treat for me, not them. But as well as that, I think this works really well on me. I'm loving it. Not being the biggest rose fan in the world, I love it. This works really well off my skin. It's layered, it's deep, it smells quite complex, it's got that kind of cheekiness that you would expect from a Tom Ford fragrance. So this is absolutely unisex. This, I think, would be powerful and mysterious and sexy on a woman, but I think it would be bold and confidence inspiring and empowering on a guy. I think whoever wears this, whatever sex you are, I think it's just gonna be sexy. So if you want to smell sexy, then I think Rose Prick is worth giving it a go.
Join the Scent Geeks every Monday as we podcast about all things fragrance. You'll find us anywhere you can usually find a podcast. Links are in the description below this video. See you there, geeks.
So I think I've mentioned that this is unisex. It's also very versatile. This is the kind of fragrance that you could wear in any season, I think. It's got enough light and shade to work in warmer months and cooler months, so all year round. In terms of occasions, any occasion. It would be a great, sexy signature scent. It would be a great date scent. It would be, it'd work as a work scent, I think, as well. And I think that it would be a great formal scent. So whenever you want to wear this, basically, whenever you want to smell sexy, wear this. And quite timely that Tom Ford have released this just before Valentine's Day. I don't think that was a mistake at all. It's just good marketing. It would be the perfect fragrance to wear on Valentine's Day. It would be perfect to buy for someone for Valentine's Day. It would be the perfect gift to give to someone on Valentine's Day and share. Because that's a lovely thing to do on Valentine's Day, isn't it? Share things. So yes, that's a great idea. Buy it for your other half and give it to them as a present, see their eyes light up with delight, and then tell them that it's to share. And then see what they say. They might not want to share it. You might have to get a 100ml bottle, actually. In terms of the bottle sizes, I think this is going to be available at the moment just as the 50ml. I think the SA was telling me further down the line they may do the larger sizes, but the initial release is going to be the 50ml. I also asked her about the price point, because I'd heard that this was going to be the lower private blend price point. According to her, it is not. It is going to be the higher price point. So this is going to be in the region of Tom Ford's Fucking Fabulous and Lost Cherry. So I think you're going to be looking at around the £220 mark and the equivalent price converted into dollars. So you're going to be looking at that higher private blend price bracket. If I remember rightly, I think she told me it was going to be available next week on the 8th of Feb. Might have got that wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what she said. You know what? I've never bought a private blend at full price, at full retail. It's a lot of money, 220 odd pounds for 50ml, it's a lot of money, but this is good. I think a few people feel that there's been some lackluster private blend releases recently, that they've not quite been on par with earlier. The initial releases that came out in the private blend, things like Oud Wood. I think this is going to be categorized with those better private blend releases. I don't think this is a damp squib. This is much better than Lost Cherry. This brings me on to the performance. The performance of Lost Cherry was, for me, abysmal. I sprayed it on skin, 20 minutes later, it had gone. Maybe I became anosmic, I don't know, but I couldn't smell it, and I want to be able to smell a fragrance. A fragrance that I'm not smelling is no use to me because I want to enjoy it. So Lost Cherry was not good. This is very good. So I'm about 6 hours into it here, and I would say that it goes through the opening quite quickly, so that rose just dies down, you get the patchouli, and then you've got the woods and the tonka bean really anchoring in the base. And this seemed to last and project in this kind of darker woody stage for around about, I think I'm just fading out of that now, so around the 6 hour mark. And at the moment, I can still get the woods, I can still get everything, I can still get the patchouli, but it just seems to be just fading to a slightly powdery skin scent. So I'm going to estimate that the overall longevity for this would be about 8 hours, where the last hour or two is just more of a powdery skin scent. I think it still may get wafts, I think it still may project. So I don't think it's going to be a beast mode performer, but it's not going to be a slouch. It's going to be a pretty decent fragrance in terms of performance. Okay, I think that covers everything. If I've left anything out, anything I've not covered, please ask me in the comments down below. I would love to help you out with any information if I have that information, if there's something that I've not mentioned in this video. So leave me some comments. Also, let me know, have you tried it yet? I feel like there's a few people who've managed to go into stores and try some testers of this before its release. I don't think it's yet been released in the States, although I might be wrong. A few people on Fragrantica do seem to have smelled this fragrance, so whether they just got lucky and got an early sniff like I did, I don't know. But if you've smelled it, let me know what you think. I'd love to hear from you because I'm quite excited about this fragrance. I'm very excited about this fragrance. I'm very interested in having that lovely pink bottle lined up on my shelf here with the rest of my private blends. I think it'll just stick out really nicely. In fact, I don't think I really have any pink bottles, so it will be my kind of proudly displayed pink bottle. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it useful. Thank you very much for watching. Remember, keep tuning into FM and keep smelling prick. Good.